Chess, the game of kings, and really bored people. But it didn't start that way. Way back in the 6th century, in a place called India, there was a game called
Chaturanga.
See, back then, armies had 4 parts: infantry, cavalry, elephants,
Chariots.
and wouldn't you know it, Chaturanga had pieces just like them, plus a couple royals, the king of course, and his trusty advisor. Now the Persians dug this game, so they started playing too, except they called it
Shatranj.
and made some tweaks. Elephants became
bishops,
chariots became rooks, pawns got a boost, and the advisor became the queen. Well, not yet, but we're getting there. Anyway, the Muslims were like, yo, this game is
Lit.
Let's tell everyone. So they did. Shatranj became the game to play. If you were a 9th century Muslim, you were playing Shatranj. Didn't matter if you were a regular schmo or a big shot scholar. Everybody was getting their Shatranj on. And as Islam spread, so did the game to Africa, the Middle East, and eventually to Europe, where it would go through some more
Changes.
and eventually become the chess we know today. So how did Shatranj become chess? Well, the Europeans got their hands on it, and they were like, this is cool, but it needs more pointy hats and
Crowns.
and castles. They called the game chess, from the Persian word
Shah.
meaning king. Because in chess, it's
All about the king.
the game spread through Europe, hitting France and England in the 11th century,
Germany and
Scandinavia in the 12th, Russia in the 14th. You get the idea. Everybody was playing. Kings, queens, peasants. Okay, maybe not peasants. Chess was a noble pursuit, the game of kings after all. But the rules still varied. Like some people were playing with dice, others had different moves for the pieces. It was a bit of a mess. But in the 15th century in Spain, they started playing with the queen, and she could move in any direction, as far as she wanted. Suddenly, chess got a lot more interesting. Other new rules popped up too, like castling, and the pawn's two-step, and
en passant.
which is French for
Running up a mountain.
these new rules spread
Fast.
and by the end of the 16th century, chess pretty much looked like it does today. The pieces, the moves, the rules, all standardized. And with that, modern chess was born. But the game was just getting started. In the 18th century, chess got a big popularity boost, especially in the coffee houses of Europe, like Café de la Régence in Paris, where people would come to play.
Watch.
And bet on games.
Chess was becoming a spectator sport. And with that came chess celebrities like Francois André,
Name is too long.
considered the best player of his time. He popularized the motto, "The pawns are the soul of chess," emphasizing pawn play and
Pawn structure.
which is still important in chess today. Philidor also composed operas, 'cause why not? He was a true Renaissance man. The 19th century brought a new style.
The romantic era of chess.
Players favored
Fast.
aggressive, sacrificial play. Kind of like this. Checkmate. The biggest star of this era,
Polymorphy.
the pride and sorrow of chess. He was brilliant, unbeatable,
A true prodigy.
but he retired from chess early and died young, leaving behind a legacy of
Brilliance.
and a bunch of cool checkmates. The Romantic era also saw the rise of chess clubs and organized competitions, like the first ever International Chess Tournament, held in London in 1851. The winner, Adolf Anderssen, nicknamed
The Lion of Leipzig.
he was known for his attacking play and,
Daring sacrifices.
like in the Immortal Game, where he sacrificed his
Queen.
both rooks,
And a bishop.
but still managed to checkmate his opponent with just a
Bishop.
and a knight. The Romantic era was
Wild.
but it couldn't last forever. Enter the Classical era, where chess got serious and strategic. The poster boy of this era,
Wilhelm Steinitz.
the first official world chess champion. Steinitz believed in positional play,
Controlling the center.
developing pieces.
And defending the king.
Steinitz held the title for
8 years.
until he was defeated by Emanuel Lasker, who held the title for a whopping 27
Years.
The Classical era was all about establishing chess
Theory.
and standardizing tournament play. But as the 20th century dawned, new ideas were brewing, and a new era was about to begin,
The hypermodern era.
where players challenged the old ideas and experimented with
New ones.
They said you don't need to control
The center.
you can influence it from afar, with pieces like the
Bishop.
and the knight. The hypermoderns were all about
Flexibility.
and dynamism. Key figures included
Aaron Nimzowitsch.
who wrote the influential book My System,
And Richard Rati.
who popularized the hypermodern opening. The hypermodern era
Shook things up.
and paved the way for modern chess. But before we get there, we gotta talk about the World Chess Championships. The first official one was held in 1886 between Wilhelm Steinitz
And Johannes Zukertort.
Steinitz won and became the first world chess champion. Since then, the title has been hotly contested, with legends like
Manuel Lasker.
Jose Raul Capablanca.
and Alexander Alekhine holding the title. But the most famous championship of all, the 1972 Match of the Century between American Bobby Fischer and Soviet Boris Spassky. It was the height of the
Cold War.
and the match was seen as a proxy battle between the US and the USSR. Fischer
One.
becoming the first American world champion and sparking a chess boom in the West. Suddenly, chess was cool, and Fischer was a celebrity. But Fischer's reign was
Short-lived.
he refused to defend his title and disappeared from the chess world, leaving the door open for
For a new champion.
enter Anatoly Karpov, the new Soviet chess hero. Karpov dominated the chess world in the 70s and 80s with his positional style and in-game mastery, but a new challenger was rising,
Garry Kasparov.
the young, dynamic
Aggressive player.
Kasparov challenged Karpov for the title in 1984 in a grueling marathon match that lasted 48 games and ended in controversy when the match was abruptly
Terminated.
but Kasparov won the rematch in 1985, becoming the youngest world champion ever. Kasparov and Karpov went on to have an
Epic rivalry.
facing each other in 5 world championship matches, with Kasparov ultimately
Prevailing.
Kasparov
Dominated.
chess in the 80s and 90s with his dynamic
Attacking.
style and unmatched preparation and work ethic. He was also a pioneer in computer chess, famously taking on IBM's Deep Blue in 1997 in a match that captivated the world. Kasparov had lost. This was a landmark moment in AI history. But Kasparov's legacy was already cemented as one of the greatest players of all time. But as the 20th century came to a close, a new generation of players was rising, ready to take the chess world by storm. The 21st century brought a new
Era of chess.
with a new generation of super grandmasters like Vladimir Kramnik, Viswanathan Anand,
And Magnus Carlsen.
who became world champion in 2013 at the age of just
22.
the youngest world champ since
Kasparov.
Carlsen's reign has been dominant, with a peak rating of 2,882, the highest in history. Carlsen's style is universal, excelling in all areas of the game, openings, middle games, end games. He's also a master of rapid and
Blitz chess.
winning multiple world titles in those formats. Carlsen's dominance has coincided with a boom in online chess, with the rise of platforms like
Chess.com and Lichess.
and the popularity of chess streams on
Twitch.
Chess has also seen a surge in interest during the
COVID-19 pandemic.
with people turning to the game for
Mental stimulation during lockdowns.
the popularity of the Netflix series The Queen's Gambit also boosted interest, leading to a surge in chess, set sales, and online play. These days, chess has truly become a global game in the modern era, with top players and rising stars from every continent, and major tournaments held in cities across the globe. As chess enters a new decade, the game continues to evolve and grow, with new ideas, new players, and new possibilities. Who knows what the future holds for this ancient and beloved game? But one thing is certain, chess will continue to captivate and inspire, as it has for over 1,500 years. And that's the history of chess.
Yeah, so we hit the dance floor. Body on mine, want a little bit more. Shawty, you fine, build a little rap for. And we lose track of time, we don't care anymore. Yeah, feel the beat right now. Dance all alone in the middle of a crowd. Drinking alcohol like we in